Hello, I'm Jay, owner of Volunteer Audio in Oliver Springs, Tennessee, and today I'm making a quick video to show you how you can take these terrible looking large factory taillights and put some custom dynamics, very slim lights in place on your 23.5 and newer CVO Streetglide or Roadglide, or that 24 and up base model Roadglide or Streetglide. It's an easy install, the lights look amazing, and this is a series going to cover a couple other lights as well, so watch the rest of the video to see how to install these as well as the other lights we're going to do on our bike. All right, so yes, this video is specifically about removing the tail lights and installing the LED Fillerz ProBEAM lights from Custom Dynamics. But this is part of a lighting package we're going to do on the back of our bike. We've already upgraded in a previous video our license plate bracket. We took that large, bulky license plate bracket down to something that's slimmer and actually more visible as far as lighting from Custom Dynamics. Now we're moving on to the tail lights, and we'll put these LED Fillerz lights in. But that alone isn't going to be enough for me. I've already got these on my CVO Streetglide. I think they look great, but you lose a little bit of that side lighting, which we're going to definitely take care of with the LED bags lights. So we're going to put the low profile lights in the next video on the back of our bags. It's going to give us really good side visibility as far as even more rear visibility. And then to go a step further, we're going to do the latch lights. So the side of that bag latch is also going to illuminate. Now these are available in many different colors. You can get black or chrome surrounds. You can also get red or smoked lenses. All of this is available at volunteeraudio.com. Toward the end of the video, I'll actually show you our CVO, which is going to have the smoked lights. On this bike, it'll be the red lights, so you can see both of those in action and determine which one's better for you. Let's get the bike apart. I'm going to show you just how easy it is to take these taillights off and get the new ProBEAM taillights installed. All right, to get ready to do our taillights, first thing we're gonna do is we're just gonna remove both of the rear bags. So you're just gonna open up your lids and take both of these retainers, these large bolts loose that takes the bag off. Now, if you have any additional lighting or wiring that's already being fed in here, then you're gonna wanna unplug either those factory connectors or in our case, our rear speaker wires as you do it. Once you get your bag disconnected from it, just set it over to the side. All right, so now we have both of our bags off. The next step is going to be to unbolt and remove both of the tail light brackets. So first, you're going to go to the back of the tail light, and we're just going to press a button on the connector, and we're going to unplug the tail light. Now here it is. There's a little push-in clip at the top. When you push it down, it's going to release, and it's going to unplug. All right, so now we're going to remove these three 11mm or 7/16 bolts. That's going to allow us to remove this tail light. All right, so I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side. All right, so same thing, we're just unplugging that connector by pushing in that top little release clip, and then remove these three bolts as well. All right, so now that we have both of the taillights off, the next part we're gonna do is we're gonna be removing these three studs that were holding the taillight on. So we're going to go about this two different ways. We've got to remove a 13mm nut on both sides, and it's got a T40 Torx head on the other. Then we're going to go up and under the fender here, and there's an additional bolt. It's either an 11mm or 13, and we'll grab the tool for that. We're going to remove both of these bolts first, and then we're going to go in here and remove this nut. That's going to give us access to get this plate out of the fender. Right behind your license plate at the base, you're going to see there is a bolt that comes through here. It's just a stud with a nut on it. It is an 11mm or 7/16. So I'm going to use a ratcheting wrench and go ahead and remove that nut. All right, so once you've done that, you can actually remove this bracket. Let me get it to come loose here. Maybe kind of held up on these studs. It's going to kind of get those loose. So go ahead and remove the T40 bolts all the way out. That's going to give you room to swing this bracket down. All right, so now that that bolt is out, both of the side bolts, we're going to be able to swing this bracket downward, and then you're going to be able to remove it. All right, so the reason we removed that There's a metal plate behind the fender with these 3 studs on it, and it's two-way taped to the fender. So now we're going to be able to take a small tool. I'll show you, I've got a panel removal tool. You can use a small screwdriver. We just want to make sure we don't do anything to really scratch up the fender. This is probably a really good tool because it won't scratch anything. We're just going to run it down behind. And once we get the plate off, I'll show you. They've only got 2 strips of two-way adhesive, and they're between both sets of bolts. So if you can get in between there and release those, it's going to make this a lot easier. And it's a little easier if you'll push in on the bolt. It's going to give you just enough room to get your tool in between. It's more about just steady pressure, because if you try to just do this as fast as possible, you're going to end up messing something up. All we're doing is breaking that tape loose with pressure. All right, so I got the top part done. I'm going to move down to the bottom, pushing on it, just to get my tool in between. So you could use a small putty knife or anything that's going to have the ability to kind of cut that tape. So here we go. We got it loose. And you'll see here there are 2 strips of two-way adhesive right between the 2 bolts. So all I'm doing is I'm trying to get between here and the fender. So I pushed out on the bolt to get my tool in. As I press, it breaks that tape loose. We'll move over to the other side and do the same thing again. All right, so again, we're just going to take our non-marring pry tool. We're going to try to get it between those 2. Again, you could use other tools, but this is what I have. Just forcing it in the area where the tape is. So I'm cutting that tape as well as putting some pressure to release it. Looks like I've got the top just about done. I'll move down to the bottom section. All right. All right, and again, just 2 strips of self-adhesive tape that we're breaking loose. All right, so now's a good time. I'm just going to take some cleaner. I'm going to wipe off the dirt and the things around the fender behind those taillights. Just want to clean where our taillights are going to be going so they stick well, as well as just getting the dirt off while it's easier to get to. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and put that bracket back on here at the bottom, because we're going to be putting some bolt covers on. It's going to make this look good, and we want to make sure that we go ahead and get that done before we move on any further. Don't forget your washer and your nut that goes here in the middle. Using a ratchet wrench, again, a 7/16 on this nut. All right, now we're going to go back together with these 13mm nuts on the outside. Again, with the T40 Torx to hold the bolt on the other side. All right, so on this install, we're going to be installing an optional part. This is called a covers, fillers, fender support. Now we're going to have this at volunteeraudio.com. It's an option available when you order the taillights. Now some of you are going to say, I've already put the taillights in and this didn't exist at that time. If that be the case, the directions tell you to put this behind the light, which we're going to do today. But I've been looking at it, there's no reason why you couldn't put this over the light as well and make your install way easier if you've already installed the taillights previously, because you're going to see these two-way tape on and so do the lights. So if you've already installed the lights before you get these, it's going to be a pain to put these behind it, and it's going to look just as good on the front. But I'm going to put them behind because that's what the directions state. So we'll be taking those out and installing those next. So you're going to get a left and right version of this, and I'll show you which one goes where. This is going to hide the bolts that have been exposed by removing the tail light from the bottom here down below at our exhaust. You're going to notice that you have a thicker side and a thinner side, and these are going to go on right here. By doing so, it's going to hide this bolt, and this bolt's going to give us a cleaner look. And these little side bolts, we don't have anything that goes in those. Not really a big deal though, because once the bag's on, it's recessed enough you really don't see them. So I'm just going to peel the self-stick off the back of this. I'm gonna line up the bottom first because that's kind of the most important portion. And then I'm gonna make sure that I line up to where my light will still go in this hole. Then self-stick it. Now our light will fit through that hole next. I'm gonna go ahead and put the one on the other side. So I highly recommend these brackets. They don't cost a lot of money. They definitely make it look a lot better. And yeah, you don't want to do it without them. This bracket, this cover is also available in black or chrome. So if you got a chrome accented bike, you're going to want to get the chrome version to go along with your chrome tail lights. All right, so let's go ahead and open up our ProBEAM LED filler lights and see what comes in the package. First off, we're going to get a left and a right tail light. In this case, I chose the red. My favorite colors are red, black, and white. In a white bike with black accents, I wanted to still have the red light. Now, even if you go with the smoked lens, which I've done on our CVO, they look great. They still light up red as well. But we're going to have two lights. We're going to have two adapters as well. So this is going to plug right into the factory wiring at your tail light, and it's going to plug directly into the little adapter here. And I'll show you how to do that wiring here in a minute. Very, very simple install. All we're going to do is remove this little protective cover off the front of our light. Just like we just did on the plate that we installed, there's a backing here that we're also going to peel. This is going to be our left rear light. So let's go ahead and get it on first, and then we'll do the right rear. Now I will show you, if you are not using these cover plates, or you're going to put the cover plates afterwards, there are 4 little clips that are going to clip into and lock it in, that you're told in the directions from these to trim off in this install. So I'm gonna go ahead and trim those off since we're gonna put this behind it. So all I'm doing is I'm just gonna come in behind here and I'm just gonna snip each one of these. And that is in the directions from Custom Dynamics. So that wasn't something we just made up. Doesn't seem right to cut them off, but that is what they tell you to do, and it's because this huge piece of 2-way tape that goes all the way around is going to take care of that. So, all right, so I've got that one in and stuck where it goes. Let's move on and do the other side. All right, so on our second light, same thing. We just clipped off each one of those little clips, and they would not do anything if you left them because of the spacing of that plate. They won't let them clip in. Again, just moving over here to the side. I'm going to line up the top of the light first. In this case, kind of drop it in here, making sure it goes all the way in. There we go. All right, let's move on to the wiring. All right, so here is our factory wiring that was plugged into our tail light. Here's our new tail light wiring. So all we're going to do is take the included adapter from Custom Dynamics. We're going to plug it in. And we're going to plug in the other side. That's how simple it is to get connected. Now what we're going to do is we're actually going to take some zip ties. We're going to secure this box up here along with the rest of this wiring. We're going to make sure it doesn't fall down. So I'm just going to undo this wiring, pull it up to this first factory location for a zip tie to go through, and zip tie this there. I'm also going to pull my factory wire and kind of point it back that direction as well. Now I'm going to judge how much of this is needed for this to be pretty clean. Fold it up where it goes. We definitely don't want any of this to ever get into a wheel or a brake rotor. So once I get this folded up like I want it, I'm going to put a couple more zip ties around it. Just out here where it's easy to get to. Now we're always going to flush cut our zip ties. So next, I'm going to bring this up just around this factory wiring here. I'm going to add a couple more zip ties in just to secure it. Now the last one I'm going to put around that black box and around this wire up a little bit more forward. So I'm going to start that zip tie here. I can get to it a little easier. Let's get it started. I'm just going to slide it down where it's over top of that box and then pull it, cinch it down. Not hard to do. All of this is weatherproof, so there's no problem with it being in the fender area. We just have to make sure that we keep these wires where they're not going to fall into that tire or brake rotor. And that's how easy it is to put the wiring on this tail light. We're going to move to the other side and do the same thing over there. And then we'll put our bags back on. Remembering to plug in our speaker wiring on this one. Speaking of which, if you're wanting to upgrade your audio, Volunteer Audio has amazing plug-and-play speaker packages for these bikes already. If you don't know about that, we're the only company that has an A to B interface that allows you to remove the factory amp and put a larger amp, which is going to give you a lot more overall sound, and these things are terrible on their audio. All right, so just that easy, we were able to change out those taillights. It's not a hard task. I really like it. Now, I did a post about these on my CVO, and I couldn't believe how many people, you either love it or you hate it. I think part of it was I didn't show those covers that went over the bolts, but I think it looks great. On this particular bike, we have the gloss black accents everywhere and the gloss black around those red tail lights. I mean, check it out. It's so much cleaner. The way it's recessed in, it looks great. And I understand recessing in is going to hurt our side view a little bit, but remember, our plan is we're going to add the same red lights here. These are going to light up as well. We're going to have far more visibility than we ever had factory, but we've got this really clean look that doesn't look like they forgot to put taillights on it and at the end put this big thing that stuck out. To me, that reminds me of something off of, I know you remember them, 93, 94, Cadillac Fleetwood, the Brougham. This was this is the big stuck out tail light that we'd had on the back of those big Cadillacs. And it just doesn't look like a Harley to me in any way. So part of what I didn't like when we first bought it, Custom Dynamics is going to make it look so much better. And to me, I'm already really happy with it. So you're going to have your opinions. And if you want to voice them below in the comments, go ahead and do so. There's no problem with saying if you like it or if you don't like it. And yeah, maybe one day somebody comes out with a light that fits in this, but I still think this stuck out housing just doesn't look good in my opinion. So I wasn't really worried about that. Custom Dynamics is top quality lights. I think they're as good a quality, if not better, than what you have from the factory. They're definitely brighter. They have a lifetime warranty. They're an excellent company, and we're proud to be distributors and dealers for them. So go to volunteeraudio.com. You'll see these packages. You can click the link below or the little button above in the video to get taken straight to these lights. We'll also have full rear packages that you're able to buy all the lights you see in this video series in one quick place to get it. So just make it easy, make sure you get all the right parts. So watch the next videos as they come up. Again, we're going to show you how to install the blade lights that go on the back edge of the bags. We're also going to show you how to do the side marker lights, the reflector lights that go on the side of your rear bags. A lot of cool things, easy to do. I think this is something you can do yourself, and it's very reasonably priced. When you look at anything you can do on a Harley that's around $100 is a great deal. And like the license plate, it's a hair over $100. Some of these lights are actually under that. So check them out at volunteeraudio.com. Again, comment below. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about the factory tail light. Do you love it? Because I didn't, but maybe you do. And that's your opinion, and we're here to hear those as well. But I think overall our visibility is going to be greater. Subscribe to Volunteer Audio. By doing so, you're going to see the next videos as they come up. But we're going to show you things like exhaust on your bike, lighting, audio. We're going to go over new products as they come out. We're going to show you how to install it so you can save labor by doing it yourself. But we're also going to show you what it looks like before and after so you can make the right decision before you spend your money. In exhaust and audio, we're going to let you hear it before and after. Thank you so much for watching. If you have questions and you want to talk to one of our knowledgeable sales or tech support staff, give us a call at 1-844-30-AUDIO. Click the link above or below to go to volunteeraudio.com. That'll take you straight to these lights or any of the other accessories we sell. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, God bless.